Good morning, and welcome to Thought for the Day for Friday the 20th of March. I have chosen the reading from Luke chapter 6, verses 1 to 11. Here Luke relates two events which show the differences in the teaching about the Sabbath between the legalism of the Pharisees and the compassionate approach of Jesus, which led to a widening conflict between the two. The story can also be found in both Matthew and Mark's Gospels, although the chronology of when this exchange took place in Jesus' ministry differs between the three. So, Luke chapter 6, verses 1 to 11, and I'm reading from the New International Version. One Sabbath, Jesus was going through the cornfields, and his disciples began to pick some ears of corn, rub them in their hands, and eat the grain. Some of the Pharisees asked, "Why are you doing what is unlawful on the Sabbath?" Jesus answered them, "Have you never read what David did when he and his companions were hungry? He entered the house of God, and taking the consecrated bread, he ate what is lawful only for priests to eat, and he also gave some to his companions." Then Jesus said to them, "The Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath." On another Sabbath, he went into the synagogue and was teaching, and a man was there whose right hand was shriveled. The Pharisees and the teachers of the law were looking for a reason to accuse Jesus, so they watched him closely to see if he would heal on the Sabbath. But Jesus knew what they were thinking and said to the man with the shriveled hand, "Get up and stand in front of everyone." So he got up and stood there. Then Jesus said to them, "I ask you, which is lawful on the Sabbath, to do good or to do evil, to save life or to destroy it?" He looked round at them all and then said to the man, "Stretch out your hand." He did so, and his hand was completely restored. But the Pharisees and the teachers of the law were furious and began to discuss with one another what they might do to Jesus. These are not the only occasions when Jesus heals on the Sabbath. In Luke chapter 13, verses 10 to 17, Jesus heals a woman who has had a crooked back for 18 years, calling those who were offended by his healing on a Sabbath hypocrites. Likewise, in Luke chapter 14, verses 1 to 5, Jesus heals a man suffering from an abnormal swelling of his body when he was dining at the house of a prominent Pharisee, asking those present, "Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath or not?" But as in our passage for today, the Pharisees do not respond to Jesus' question. It seems they are more interested in trapping Jesus into breaking their laws. The Pharisees were past masters at legalism. Whilst God gave Moses 10 commandments, in the Jewish tradition there were 613, of which 365 were negative commandments to abstain from certain acts, and 248 positive commandments. Within these commandments were 39 categories of activities forbidden on the Sabbath, of which various methods of harvesting, including rubbing the ears of corn, as the disciples did, was but one. There were even various subcategories within these, such that one commentary I read mentioned that walking on grass was even forbidden, as it was considered a form of threshing. Healing on the Sabbath, as recounted in verses 6 to 11, was also forbidden, as the Pharisees viewed this as practicing medicine, and you were not permitted to work on the Sabbath. In saying that he was Lord of the Sabbath, Jesus was indicating that he had the authority to overrule the Pharisees' traditions and regulations as he had created the Sabbath. By referring to the story about David eating the consecrated bread in verses 3 and 4, Jesus was affirming that human need is more important than human rules and regulations. It is clear from this passage that the religious leaders were more concerned with the negatives and catching Jesus out so that they could accuse him of doing wrong. Interestingly, Jesus only instructed the man to hold out his hand. There was no physical action on the part of Jesus. So technically, it could be said that Jesus had not broken the legalistic rules of the Pharisees. The Pharisees wanted the man with the withered hand healed on the Sabbath, not out of compassion for him, but to accuse Jesus. Jesus, on the other hand, concentrated on the positives. He healed the man for that man's benefit, and throughout his ministry, we see his compassion and help for those in need. Jesus could easily have suggested that the man met him at another time or place to avoid the righteous indignation of the Pharisees, but chose to confront the issue of the Sabbath head on, and the Pharisees had no response. So my thought for the day is, what would someone looking in on us as a church and a benefice say about us? Are we like the Pharisees, more focused on the negatives, on our perception of the truth, what people should or shouldn't be doing, expecting people to fit into our way of doing things? Or are we examples of the positive, aware that we don't have all the answers, but looking to accept everyone for who they are, looking to be welcoming, good neighbours to all, and looking to the true meaning and power of the gospel? Thank you for listening, and have a blessed day.